What if you had an assistant that never slept, never forgot a deadline, could research anything in seconds, help you write a professional email, build out a business plan, and still have time to help you figure out what to cook for dinner tonight? That's not science fiction anymore. That's OpenClaw, your AI-powered work assistant. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this changes everything. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're diving deep into something I've been personally using, and honestly, I don't know how I operated without it. Whether you're a freelancer juggling 5 clients, an entrepreneur running a small business, a professional drowning in emails and meetings, or just someone trying to get more done in less time, this video is for you. OpenClaw is an AI assistant, but calling it just an assistant is like calling a Swiss Army knife just a knife. It's a research tool, a writing partner, a strategy consultant, a personal organizer. And today I'm going to break down exactly how it works across 5 major areas of your life. So let's get into it. Here's what we're covering today. Let's start where most of us feel the most pressure: work. Think about your average Monday morning. You've got a full inbox, 3 meetings, a report due by end of day, and you haven't even had your second coffee yet. This is exactly where OpenClaw starts earning its keep. First, email and communication. You can literally paste in a messy, rambling email you need to respond to, tell OpenClaw what outcome you want, and it'll draft a professional, clear, and appropriately toned response in seconds. Need it to be firm but polite? Done. Formal but friendly? Done. You're the editor. OpenClaw is the writer. Next, reports and documents. This is huge. Instead of staring at a blank page for 20 minutes, you give OpenClaw your bullet points, your data, your rough notes, and it turns that into a structured, well-written draft. You clean it up, add your voice, hit send. What used to take 2 hours takes 20 minutes. And then there's meeting prep. Before any important call or meeting, you can use OpenClaw to research the person or company you're meeting, generate a list of talking points, anticipate questions they might ask, and even help you craft your agenda. You walk in prepared, every time. The bottom line on productivity: OpenClaw doesn't replace your brain, it supercharges it. It handles the drafting, the formatting, the research, so you can focus on the decisions that actually need you. All right, chapter 2, your career, because it's not just about doing your current job better. It's about growing into the next level. Let's talk resumes and cover letters first. If you've applied for jobs recently, you know how painful this is. Every application feels like it needs a custom letter, tailored to the role, hitting specific keywords. OpenClaw can take your existing resume, read the job description you paste in, and generate a tailored cover letter that actually speaks to that role. Specific, relevant, professional. What about learning new skills? Say you want to break into data analysis, or you need to get up to speed on a new software platform your company just adopted. You can ask OpenClaw to create a personalized learning roadmap, broken down by week, by resource type, by difficulty level. It becomes your personal curriculum designer. And this one is underrated: interview preparation. Tell OpenClaw the role you're interviewing for and ask it to generate the 20 most likely interview questions along with frameworks for answering them. Then practice out loud. It's like having a mock interview coach available at midnight the night before your big meeting. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, pivoting industries, or building your own business, OpenClaw helps you show up sharper, more prepared, and more competitive. Now this chapter, this is where things get really exciting for me personally. Because if you're running any kind of business, OpenClaw is basically a team member. You never have to pay overtime. Let's start with content creation: blog posts, social media captions, video scripts like this one, product descriptions, email newsletters. If your business needs words, and every business does, OpenClaw can produce first drafts fast. You bring the ideas and the brand voice. OpenClaw handles the heavy lifting of getting words on the page. Then there's market research and strategy. You can ask OpenClaw to break down a competitive landscape, explain industry trends, help you identify gaps in your market, or even role-play as a skeptical customer to pressure test your pitch. It's not going to browse real-time data on its own, but if you feed it information, it can analyze and synthesize it at a level that would take you hours to do manually. Business planning is another massive use case. Whether you're writing a business plan for investors, mapping out a go-to-market strategy, or just trying to organize your growth roadmap for the next quarter, OpenClaw can help you structure your thinking, fill in sections, ask you the right questions, and produce polished documents. And for anyone running an e-commerce shop, a service business, or a content-driven site, OpenClaw can help with customer-facing copy, FAQ pages, onboarding sequences, and client proposals. It's relentless. It doesn't get writer's block, and it works at whatever hour you do. Okay, let's step away from work for a second, because OpenClaw isn't just a professional tool. It genuinely improves the texture of everyday life. Let's start simple. Planning and organizing. Need to plan a trip? Give OpenClaw your destination, your budget, your travel dates, and what kind of experience you want, and it'll build you a day-by-day itinerary, hotels, activities, local tips, restaurants. It's like having a travel agent in your pocket. Health and fitness planning is another one. You can describe your current fitness level, your goals, how many days a week you can commit, and ask for a workout plan. Or describe your dietary preferences and get meal prep ideas and grocery lists for the week. It's not a substitute for a doctor or certified trainer, but for organizing your health habits, it's incredibly useful. Decision-making support is one of my favorite personal uses. When you're facing a big decision, a major purchase, a life change, a tough conversation you need to have, you can use OpenClaw as a sounding board. Lay out the situation. Ask it to play devil's advocate. Ask it to list the pros and cons. Ask it what questions you should be asking yourself. It helps you think more clearly. And honestly, sometimes you just need to learn something quickly. What does this legal term mean? How does this financial concept work? What's the history behind this event? OpenClaw explains complex topics in plain language at whatever depth you need. It's the encyclopedia that talks back. Now let's talk about how OpenClaw adapts to specific professions, because this is one of the things that makes it so powerful. It meets you where you are. Teachers and educators can use OpenClaw to build lesson plans, generate quiz questions, create rubrics, draft parent communication letters, and even get ideas for classroom activities based on learning objectives. It cuts prep time dramatically. Healthcare professionals can use it to draft patient communication templates, summarize medical literature in layman's terms, or create staff training materials. Important note: always verify medical information from authoritative sources. OpenClaw is a drafting and research support tool, not a clinical decision maker. Lawyers and legal professionals can use it to draft initial document outlines, summarize case notes, research general legal concepts, and prepare correspondence. Again, always verify. But for the administrative and drafting load, it's a game changer. Marketers and creatives can use it for campaign ideation, ad copy testing, brand voice development, and content calendars. Feed it your brand guidelines and audience persona, and it produces content that actually fits. Traders, analysts, and finance professionals can use it to summarize market concepts, draft investment thesis documents, build structured journal templates, or analyze data you paste in. If you're running systematic strategies and need to think through logic frameworks, OpenClaw is an incredibly sharp thinking partner. Alright, so you're sold on what OpenClaw can do? Now let me give you the tips that actually make the difference between getting okay results and getting incredible results. Tip 1. Be specific. The more context you give, the better the output. Don't just say, write me an email. Say, write me a professional but warm follow-up email to a client who hasn't responded in 2 weeks, reminding them about our proposal without sounding pushy. See the difference? Context is everything. Tip 2. Assign a role. Tell OpenClaw who to be. Act as an experienced marketing strategist. You are a senior financial analyst. Respond as a patient tutor, explaining this to a beginner. Framing OpenClaw's perspective radically improves the relevance of the response. Tip 3. Iterate. Your first prompt is rarely your last. If the output isn't quite right, tell it what to adjust. Make it shorter. Make the tone more casual. Add a stronger call to action. Think of it as a conversation, not a vending machine. Tip 4. Use it to think, not just to produce. Some of the best use cases aren't, "Write this for me." They're, "Help me think through this." Brainstorm with it. Challenge it. Ask it to find holes in your argument. Use it as a mental sparring partner. Tip 5. Build your own prompts library. When you find a prompt that works really well for something you do regularly, save it. Build a personal library of your best prompts and reuse them. That's where you start to get serious leverage. Let me show you a real-world example. A day in the life of someone using OpenClaw from morning to night. It's 7 a.m. You wake up and you've got a packed day. First thing, you ask OpenClaw to look at your task list and help you prioritize it by urgency and importance. Boom, you've got a structured game plan before your first coffee is done. 9 a.m. You've got a client proposal to send. You dump your rough notes into OpenClaw and ask it to turn them into a polished proposal document. 20 minutes of editing later, it goes out. Professional, impressive. 12 p.m. lunchtime. You're thinking about a new side project. You open OpenClaw and start a brainstorm session. You describe the idea. It asks you clarifying questions. It identifies potential issues you hadn't thought of. It gives you a framework for validating the concept. By the time lunch is over, your vague idea has a structured plan. 3 p.m., you need to respond to a tough client email. The client is frustrated. You don't want to be defensive, but you need to hold firm on scope. You paste the email into OpenClaw, explain the situation, and ask for a professionally assertive response. It delivers. You tweak 2 lines. Done. 9 p.m., day is winding down. You want to learn something new. You're curious about a concept you heard on a podcast. You ask OpenClaw to explain it, then go deeper, then ask how it applies to your industry. 40 minutes later, you understand something new at a level that would have taken you hours of reading to reach. Now, I know some of you have questions or concerns. Let me address the most common ones directly. Is this going to replace my job? No. The people who use AI tools like OpenClaw are going to have a massive productivity advantage over people who don't. It's not about replacement, it's about leverage. The tool doesn't replace your judgment, your relationships, or your expertise. It amplifies them. What about accuracy? Can I trust it? Use OpenClaw as a first draft tool and a thinking partner, not as the final authority on facts. For anything where accuracy is critical, legal, medical, financial, always verify. Use it to accelerate your process, not bypass your judgment. It sounds complicated. It's not. If you can type a question, you can use OpenClaw. The learning curve is genuinely low. The ceiling on what you can do with it is very high. But you don't need to master everything on day one. Just start with one use case that would save you time today. Here's the part I really want you to sit with for a second. We're living through a moment where the gap between people who leverage AI tools and people who don't is growing fast. The professionals, entrepreneurs, and creators who adopt these tools aren't working harder, they're working smarter, they're producing more, they're moving faster, and they're freeing up mental energy for the things that actually require human creativity and judgment. OpenClaw isn't a shortcut, it's a force multiplier. The people getting the most out of it are still putting in the work. They're just getting dramatically better results for that effort. Think about what you could do with an extra 2 hours a day, an extra 10 hours a week. What project would you finally start? What skill would you finally develop? What client would you finally be able to take on? That's the real promise here. All right, if you've made it this far, you're clearly serious about leveling up how you work. So here's what I want you to do. First, start using OpenClaw today. Pick one thing on your to-do list that you've been dreading. an email, a document, a plan, and use OpenClaw to tackle it. Just one thing, see how it feels. Second, drop a comment below telling me what you're going to use it for first. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear how it's working for you. Third, if this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more deep dives like this planned, and you won't want to miss them. The world is moving fast. The tools available to us right now are genuinely extraordinary. OpenClaw is one of the best of them, and the good news is it's available to you right now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.